What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode number 13 of Behind the Grind. We're going to switch it up a little bit, and today on the show we have not one, not two, but three special guests, starting with Vicente Luque, moving on to Anthony Romano, and last but not least, your boy Eryk Anders. So, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll see you at the end. Peace. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Grind. With his most recent win coming by a close split decision over Platinum Mike Perry, he also holds quite impressive wins over Nico Price, Thiago Santos, and Bilal Muhammad. Vicente, how's it going today?
What's up, man? I'm going good. Doing
Good. So, can you start off the interview by telling us a little bit about your background?
Yeah. So I started martial arts really young. First time I got into a mat of karate, I was about 3 to 4 years old. My mom is a black belt in karate, so since then I've trained. At 15 years old, I joined the Muay Thai class, and then I started going to MMA. At around 17, I had my first fight. And since then, I've been grinding to get to UFC. 2015, I got to the UFC and been doing what I'm doing.
That's awesome. So, actually, in 2014, you were on The Ultimate Fighter, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Correct.
What about that?
Yeah, so the Ultimate Fighter, I was part of Tough 21. That was the only one we had two teams of MMA competing against each other, Black Zillions and ATT. I was part of the Black Zillions, and it was a really different experience. I think it was very valuable from the point that I evolved a lot. I was able to show what I could do in the cage. And at the same time, I got to, live with my opponents. That was a different kind of thing. You saw them every day, you're gonna fight. But at the same time, that made me be more realistic about that guy that's in the cage with me is another man just like me. So I have nothing to fear. I just have to go there, do my best, and work hard, and I'm gonna get the win.
It's a totally different experience. You don't get to do that all the time.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was very cool.
So, how does your nickname, the Silent Assassin, relate to you?
Yeah, that was part of it happened in Ultimate Fighter. Glenn Robinson, he's the guy that made Black Zillions. He was the team owner for Black Zillions, and my manager as well at the time. And he, I wasn't a guy that spoke too much. I just, kept quiet, did my work. But whenever I stepped in the cage, I worked and I showed my potential in there. So he said, "Hey, you're like a silent assassin. You don't talk much, you don't say anything, but when you get in there, you kill these guys. So that's gonna be your nickname."
So you mentioned Black Zillions. That's where you train out of at the moment, correct?
Not right now. So the Black Zillions, at the moment, I don't think that they are working anymore. The team split up back in 2016 or 17. I'm not sure. And I've always trained in Brazil and in Florida. So right now I'm part of Serrato MMA, the team I started at 17 here in Brazil. And when I'm in the US, I train at Hard Knocks 365, where there's Henry Hooft, Kamaru Usman also, and Gilbert Burns. They all are from there.
That's sweet. So I know Mike Perry is one of the baddest dudes on the planet. What did you find worked for you in that fight?
Yeah, I mean, this was a big fight. I knew he was gonna go in there and come aggressive and try to knock me out every single moment. I kind of prepared myself for that, and I wanted to go for the striking. I'm a striker myself, so I got ready for, to especially put on the pressure on him, try to keep him walking back. The guy that likes to walk forward, and that's where he has the hardest punches. But whenever he walks back, he's not punch as hard. So that's what I try to do through the fight. I think it was a pretty close fight, but I believe I got the second and third rounds, and especially because I was able to block a lot of the shots and get my shot in there. And the last round, I think it was my best round. I was more aggressive, and I got that knee in. I think that was a big part of the fight. And I also tried to finish him with the guillotine. It was maybe 85, 90% in, but he was tough, and he was able to survive it.
What were your thoughts on the damage you actually did on his nose after?
It was pretty crazy, man. I only saw it after the fight, and it was kind of shocking because it was a really bad break, and I wish him nothing but fast recovery. That's something hard because when we are after the fight, we want to get back to the gym, get back to the drawing board, and right after get to a fight again. And I know an injury like that is gonna take a little time to recover, so it's gonna take him out a bit of me. So I hope he recovers soon and gets back to what he does.
So you've actually fought 4 times in the last 10 months. How does that affect your body?
Yeah, it's a bit of a load for the body, but I am a guy that always tries to keep in shape. I don't take more than a week off after a fight, and I'm always on diet to keep myself healthy. So it has been hard. I'm trying to get a little break after this fight, but slowly I've already got back to training, and I don't know. I just like to keep active. I think it keeps my mind working well, keeps my body in shape. So if I can fight one more this year, I'm gonna try to do it.
So you actually called out Stephen Thompson in your last fight. Is that something in the works?
That's something we're looking for. I'm still gonna talk to my manager, try to get that fight done, maybe in December. And I think I've been showing in the cage what I can do. I've been showing that I am a guy that deserves to be in the top 15, deserves to fight a ranked opponent. I'm looking for that fight, and I think Thompson is the perfect fight for me. Uh, Especially because of the fans. I think it's a fight that is gonna be really exciting. He's got that karate style striking. I'm more of a Muay Thai style. So I think it's two styles that are going to clash against each other, and it's going to be a really exciting fight. I think it's a fight that makes sense.
Do you believe that's one of the fights that'll get you another step closer to the title?
Definitely, I think so because Thompson has fought for the title 2 times. He has wins over several, top opponents, and the fight for me to get to that next level. And I think a victory over a guy like Thompson is gonna step me up.
Last questions I have for you, champ. Where can we find you on social media, and is there anyone you would like to thank? The stage is all yours.
Yeah, so social media, Instagram, Luque Vicente. So you put my last name first, and everywhere else, Vicente Luque, Vicente MMA. You'll find me, and yeah, that's it. Always thank my two teams, Serrato MMA, Hard Knocks 365, all the guys that helped me, especially the fans. They are the really, the people that motivate me to go out there and do my best.
So it was a pleasure talking to you, Vicente, and hopefully we can do it in person soon.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Pleasure's all mine.
Take care.
You too. Peace.
There you have it, guys. That was just Vicente Luque. Next up on the show, we have Anthony Romano.
To perform in impressive fashion, Mr. Anthony Romano, how's it going today?
Good, Simon. How are you, buddy?
Not too bad. So, to start off the interview, can you explain to us a little bit about how you began your Pro Gloves run and how it's going so far?
Yeah, you know what? In all honesty, I was out doing some training over at Genius Fitness with Anthony Romero, and oddly enough, there was a heavy bag hanging off the ceiling, and I walked by the bag and gave it a punch. Never boxed before in my life, but I gave this bag a punch, and Anthony looks at me and says, "Want to do some boxing?" I said, "Okay, let's do some." And he put a pair of gloves on me. Absolutely loved it. And as the day went on, he was showing me a few things, and I said, I wish I had done something like this when I was younger. And he suggested Pro Gloves, which is an organization, the charity boxing event here. And so I applied for it. Sure enough, I got it, and now I'm on this journey.
Awesome. So how's the training looking for you so far?
It's really good. You know what? It's a lot tougher than I thought it would be. Obviously, you've got to be there as often as you can, especially for somebody like me that's never done something like this before. Um, it becomes addictive. I can tell you that. I love being in the gym and I love having the gloves on. But it's pretty good. It's hectic. It's like you say, it's the grind, right? A lot of hard work.
How does it feel knowing you'll be helping so many people through this fight?
You know what? So when Pro Gloves was mentioned to me, I mean, I already knew about the disease and I've known about it since I was a kid. But you know, I'm learning more and more about the disease as we go along, and you know, with all the hard work that goes into it, knowing that we are helping all these people who really don't have a choice every day is phenomenal. It's a great feeling. So it gives it even more. You know, you develop a love for the boxing, but you know, it's even more so because you know it's for that purpose. You're helping these people.
Now, we're still a little bit away, but do you feel like you're beginning to feel like you're almost at the top of your game to perform?
You know what? I think there's always room to get better. We're about 3 months away from the fight. We're about 3 months into training right from when we started. I feel like I've developed a lot, and I feel great doing it. But I always think that there's room to get better at what you do. So.
Right on. So here's one of the most important questions I have for you today. Is there a nickname in the works?
There actually is a nickname decided. We thought just because you know I'm the older Italian guy. My name is the Paisano. I'm Anthony the Paisano Romano.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When you decided to enter Pro Gloves, what was your family's reaction like?
You know what? Extremely supportive. My wife, I've got 5 children who, you know, they've all been wrestling since my oldest one is 20 now, and she's been wrestling since she was in grade threes, and they've all followed. They're very supportive. They've seen me going, and you know, I've supported them with their wrestling journeys. They've reached some pretty high levels, and I've been there with them all along, right from the start. So for them to see Dad doing something that you know is out of the norm, I think they're looking forward to coming out and doing what I've done for them, and you know, they're my push. They're very supportive of it, and they love they love what I'm doing here. They love what's happening with the whole Pro Gloves thing. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Are you taking this as any amateur or professional boxer would, or is it different since you're fighting for a cause?
It's both. It's both. You know, like I say, I mean, you know, putting the gloves on for the first time, you develop this thing, just an immediate love for it. So we're training like boxers. You know, we do all the things that boxers normally do in the ring at training. But at the same time, it is for a purpose. So I think, like I say, I think the fact that it's for a purpose, um, maybe sometimes brings the training a little bit more. How can I say? It brings it a little bit more intense because it's for that purpose, and because I'm late in the game here, right? I've never done this before, so we're training hard.
Have you actually had the opportunity to spar yet?
Uh, so our fight camp starts in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Not so much of a chance to spar yet, but our fight camp starts in a couple of weeks. So, I mean, up until now, we've been doing obviously, you know, the punches and the combos and the footwork and all that. And you know, starting in a couple of weeks, we start putting it all together. And I think our fight camp starts. I want to say second week of September.
So where can people actually donate for Pro Gloves?
So if Pearl Gloves has a website at www.pearlgloves.ca. Once you're on that website, you'll see the list of boxers for the event that's being held November 29th. And so you can pick a boxer to donate in the name of towards Pro Gloves. And I'm also doing a fundraiser on my own for a wine survivor that people can come into. And if anybody wants to do that, they can get me on social media, and I'll get them in there.
Last couple of questions for you here. Where can we find you on social media? And is there anyone you would like to thank? The stage is all yours.
So you know what? I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. People can find me there. You know what? In all honesty, I've got to thank obviously my family for supporting me with what I'm doing, and for Pro Gloves for accepting me. But I've also got to thank Anthony Romano for getting this love for boxing, putting those gloves on me for the first time, and everything kind of fell into place since that day. So.
That looks to be all the time we have today, Mr. Romano, and I can't wait to watch all the hard work and sacrifice you put in pay off.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks for having me, Simon.
My pleasure. All right.
All right.
There you have it, guys. That was Pro Gloves' newest fighter, Anthony Romano. Next up on the show, last but not least, your boy, Eryk Anders.
Eryk, how's it going today?
Man, everything's doing good, man. Just getting the start to my morning and head out the door and start training here in a little bit.
Awesome. So can you start off the show by telling us a little bit about yourself and the story on how you began MMA?
I played football all my life, played in college. After college, got on with the Cleveland Browns, got cut, went to Canada, got cut. Played a year of arena football and pretty much said if it's not the NFL, then I don't want to play. So I started doing the 9-to-5 thing. Just found myself bored, frustrated, and need an outlet. So I started training. Fell in love with the sport, and pretty much been doing it ever since.
Right on. So you already talked about your football career. With your last fight coming by TKO, that put you back on track?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think you're only as good as your last performance. So I think my last one was a pretty good one. So I think I'm back on track. I got another one coming up here pretty soon, and look to end it the same way.
Now, you've actually had a fight in Bellator, correct?
Yep.
What made you choose the UFC?
It's not necessarily that I chose. Back then I was just trying to get in where I fit in, where I could, potentially make a living fighting and only fighting. So I fought for Bellator, and I actually try to politic and, get myself like a multi-fight contract with Bellator, but they weren't having it, I guess. And then I fought 2 or 3 more times, and then the UFC came calling. So, here I am.
So, beginning your MMA career, did you believe you would end up where you are today?
Man, I always wanted to be like a professional athlete. I thought that it would be football. That didn't work out, and man, I knew as soon as I started fighting that being in the UFC was one of the ultimate goals, and I just wasn't going to stop until I got there.
Now, I know MMA is one of those sports that requires a lot of training and focus. Does that kind of push you away from your family time, and does that affect you at all?
Yeah, I live and train in Birmingham, but I travel a pretty good bit to go train other places. Like right now, I'm in Dallas training with Saif Saeed at Fortis. So, I'll be gone from the family for 2 weeks. So, it's not easy, but you gotta do what you gotta do so you can do what you want to do. And I try. I don't waste time. It's not like I'm out here partying or nothing. I'm out here training, getting better, learning new things, training a really good training partner. So, it'll be worth it at the end.
I know when my brother began MMA, my parents were kind of like, this is what you want to do. How was your family's reaction when they found out you wanted to be a fighter?
Well, it's funny because when I was a kid, I told my mom that I wanted to box. And then she was like, no, you're going to be brain dead. And then she lets me play football, which is, probably just as bad, if not worse, than boxing is. And then after I got done with football, I told her that I was going to do MMA. And she said, I don't know why you want to do MMA. You got such a pretty smile. You're going to get your teeth knocked out, blah, blah. But then she finished it with, she was like, I know you. You're going to do what you want anyway. So, you know, have fun. So, they, my brothers, I got 3 brothers and 2 sisters. So, they were all about it. They thought it was really cool. I don't think that any of them thought that I would take it as seriously uh, as I did and get to where I'm at. So, it's just pretty cool to be here.
Outside of fighting, do you have any hobbies you enjoy doing?
Man, when I'm not fighting or training, I like spending time with the family. So, it really depends what the kids want to do. We like to travel and go different places. So, like Disneyland, Six Flags, and wherever I'm fighting, like I fought, in Canada. So, when I fought in Canada, we went to go see the CN Tower and walk around Toronto and stuff. When I fought in Atlanta, we went to the aquarium, the Georgia Aquarium, which is like the biggest aquarium in the world. So, we always try to like find somewhere that I'm fighting, something to do where I'm fighting like the day after the fight or so.
Sweet. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Do you have any troubles getting down to your fight weight, in case 185?
Not really, man. Before I met my wife, I did the old school, don't eat for a week, run, 30 miles a week, trying to, just get your weight down. But then when I met my wife, and that's miserable doing that, man. Yeah, it's miserable. But when I met my wife, she's really big into the health, nutrition, and dietitian thing. So she, I actually eat more fighting at middleweight than I do normally, just to keep that metabolism going. And so I don't really have like those hunger pains, and I still get moody and stuff like that. But that's to be expected when you're cutting weight. And man, it's really just like the last 2 or 3 pounds that are a pain in the ass. So outside of that, it's as long as I'm disciplined and doing what I'm supposed to do, then everything's all good.
Perfect package having someone there for you.
Yeah, for sure.
So last couple of questions, Eryk. Where can we find you on social media? And is there anyone you would like to shout out real quick? The stage is all yours.
Yeah, man, you guys can follow me Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Eryk Anders, ErykAnders. And man, just shout out to everybody who's got a hand in the pot and trying to make me better. My family, wife, kids, coaches, training partners. It really does take a team to get me prepared for the fight. So, just thank you to all those people.
Now, I know you're a busy guy, so it was a pleasure having you on the show, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Hey, thanks, brother. Anytime.
Awesome. Peace.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
There you have it, guys. Episode number 13 in the books. We'll see you for episode 14, which will feature many more MMA fighters, coaches, even managers. Peace.